stock car race. Today, the best drivers from NASCAR and two of the premier stars from the IndyCar circuit, A.J. Foyt and Tom Sneva, will compete for $250,000 prize money on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
And gentlemen, start your engines.
And with that command, the drivers start to move out onto the track at Charlotte, North Carolina. The Charlotte Motor Speedway, today the National 500. Hello again, everybody. I'm Al Michaels. Welcome you to Charlotte, North Carolina. All of the big names in NASCAR racing are here. Dale Yarborough, David Pearson. He's been hot at this track. He's won the pole now 6 consecutive years. Richard Petty, the venerable veteran, 5-time national champion. The defending Indy 500 champion, A.J. Foyt, also in the field. And the first man to crack the 200-mile-an-hour barrier in Indianapolis, Tom Sneva, will make his stock car racing debut today. Working with me is the publisher and editor of National Speed Sport News, Chris Economaki. And we've got a good field here in Charlotte today, Chris, and a lot of big bucks at stake, too.
Well, big bucks is right. $250,000 to be exact. So it makes the race very significant from a money standpoint. An interesting sidelight, a heavy track scrubbing rain fell during the night. The track has been washed clean of all the rubber. There really isn't a groove. And a lot of the drivers are concerned about whether their car is properly tailored for the racetrack. Those that are, fine. Those that are not are going to have to do some work during the early pit stops. Janet Guthrie's in the field. There's a lot of interest there. And there's some new youngsters we'll be talking about later.
And right now, the cars on their way out of the pits and back of the pace car out onto this very fast track. 1.5 miles here in Charlotte, North Carolina. 334 laps. The pole sitter David Pearson qualified at a speed in excess of 160 miles an hour.
The pit crews are going to play an important role today, Al. A lot of stops for gasoline and tires before it's all over.
So the 41-car field with a purse of over $250,000. And in the first row for the National 500 at Charlotte, in car number 21, David Pearson, who loves this track. Pearson on the left, flanked by number 11, Cale Yarborough from Timminsville, South Carolina. And in row number 2, Donnie Allison driving car number 1. And the hometown favorite, Buddy Baker from Charlotte in car number 15. In row 3 on the left, Richard Petty. He's in his 40s, and he still looks like he's 27. And a youngster, Darrell Waltrip, one of the young lions on the NASCAR circuit. In the 4th row, Neil Bonnet in car number 5 and Benny Parsons in car 72. A.J. Foyt starts in row 5. He's in car 51 alongside Skip Manning.
You know, the crowd, Al, is paradoxical. It rained here just about an hour ago. It's smaller than the management wanted, but bigger than they expected. About 60,000, I'd say.
And they'll be watching in row 6, Sam Summers in car number 27. And Tom Sneva, the USAC champion, makes his NASCAR debut today in car number 6. Dick Brooks and Dave Marcus in row 7. Allison and Hutcherson in 8. G.C. Spencer starting in row number 9, car number 49. G.C. Spencer in his mid-50s, and he says this will do it. This will be his final year on the NASCAR circuit. Janet Guthrie starting in row 14, and car number 68 as the pace car pulls off, and we are set for the start of the National 500, 334 laps, 500 miles at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We have the green flag, and we're underway with David Pearson, the pole sitter, who averaged better than 160 miles an hour, taking the lead. And on the outside in car number 11, Dale Yarborough. Donnie Allison, who started on the inside of row number 2 in car number 1. Allison trying to move through on the inside, now backs off. He'll try to go the other way, come up on the outside. He's running 3rd and then dropping back down low again. But it is still Pearson flanked by Yarborough.
You may wonder, Al, why they're racing so hard so early. Well, there's a lot of bonus money involved. In fact, Pearson's already pocketed $10,000 for winning the pole, but there's $18,000 in extra money for those who lead at various increments through the race. And this is what these men are after now.
And it is David Pearson who still has the lead. Dale Yarborough has now dropped back, and Yarborough is 4th. And here comes Darrell Waltrip moving into spot number 3 in car number 88. It is Allison running 2nd right now, with Pearson still out in front on lap number 2.
And there's no groove established yet on this rain-washed track, and that means the drivers can drive low, higher, in the middle, wherever they want. It makes for excellent racing, and right now we've got a lot of former winners out front.
And David Pearson, one of those winners who just loves this track at Charlotte. Pearson has the lead and doing some drafting right now in car number 1. Donnie Allison in spot number 2. Cale Yarborough is running 3rd. Richard Petty is trying to move up. Petty right now in the 5 spot. Darrell Waltrip in car number 88 is running 4th, and for a moment tried to duck down inside of Yarborough, and now moves to the outside again.
Here's Donnie Allison looking for his 2nd win of the year. Donnie was a surprise winner of this race last year, and he's moving out front.
So it's Donnie Allison in car number 1 from Hueytown, Alabama, who has the lead as they jockey for position in the initial stages of the National 500 at Charlotte. That's Cale Yarborough in the orange number 11, trying to come up now on the outside. Yarborough is running 2nd in car number 47. That is Bruce Hill, 3 years ago, the Rookie of the Year. Apparently a blown engine and the first man out of the race. And we'll be coming right back to Charlotte. Number 1 has the lead as we come back to the National 500 at Charlotte. There's the battle for 2nd right now. It is Darrell Waltrip in car number 88. And in the orange number 11, Cale Yarborough, with the pole sitter David Pearson dropping back to 4th spot. Richard Petty in spot number 5. But it's Allison in car number 1. That's the biggest lead that anybody has had to this point in the race. Allison with the lead, Waltrip running 2nd.
Allison's got a couple of slower cars between his car and the 2nd place car, which is an insulation.
So Allison out on top with Waltrip in car number 88. Darrell running 2nd. Cale Yarborough trying to duck down inside. Cale sitting in spot number 3. David Pearson, who has had much success at this track, racing 4th right now. But here's the battle for 2nd with Waltrip on the outside.
Boy, these guys have a lot of respect for one another, Al, to ride so close, so fast. Down 2nd. Look, going to the pits is the leader, Donnie Allison.
Donnie Allison had the lead and went straight into the pits. And so it is Waltrip now who is your leader in car number 88 with Yarborough 2nd. So Allison rolling along and built up a relatively sizable advantage in the early stages of the race. And the hood is up. The axiom in stock car racing, if the hood is up, forget it. You're through for the day. And there was the leader, Allison, with the hood up in the pits, and a frustrated veteran from Hueytown, Alabama, Donnie Allison, unbuckling the straps as Darrell Waltrip has taken over, and that is G.C. Spencer, who is almost a lap back, running out in front of the leader.
He's an antique dealer from Bluff City, Tennessee, and this is his last season. Let's see what he does.
Spencer in the brown car, almost a lap back. It is Yarborough who now has the lead. Cale in car number 11. That is Petty now moving up into 3rd spot, and squeezed in between is Waltrip, but it's G.C. Spencer. Spencer almost a lap down and still running out in front of the leaders as Yarborough goes high, and Waltrip and G.C. Spencer starts to get sideways on the turn, and moving up on the outside is Yarborough to try to get past with Waltrip 2nd and Petty 3rd. Well, Donnie Allison had the lead. He was the winner of this race last year, but you saw him go into the pits. He is now out of the race, and Donnie Allison is in the pits with Chris Economaki.
That was a short race, Donnie. You really had it going there. What knocked you out?
Well, Chris, I believe I broke a cylinder head or something. You know, it started running hot, and when the temperature started running all over the gauge, I told him, you know, I was out of water, and, you know, it just did it all of a sudden. I really wasn't running the car hard. The car's been running ever since we've been here, and, you know, I felt like if I didn't have any problem today, I was going to be hard to beat.
Well, he had the problem, and he's out of the race, and right now it's Cale Yarborough on top of that. Richard Petty, who has moved into the 2nd spot in car number 43. And here comes Petty down low. Normally, Richard likes to go on the outside, but Yarborough is in that spot right now. So Petty is where he normally doesn't particularly like to be, but is trying to take advantage going down low, and Richard Petty takes the lead with Yarborough running in 2nd spot, and David Pearson is 3rd. So Richard Petty has the lead for the first time today.
How'd you like to beat Cale Yarborough, Al? Richard Petty right in front of him, and David Pearson filling up his mirror, and Darrell Waltrip waiting for any one of those 3 to make a mistake.
Good scramble right now.
There's Dale Inman, Richard Petty's cousin and one of the most respected crew chiefs in the business, on a high vantage point, talking to Richard over the two-way radio.
Richard Petty is out in front. Yarborough is running 2nd. A.J. Foyt is running back in the pack, as is Tom Sneva, the first man to go over 200 miles an hour in Indianapolis. And we've got A.J. Foyt in car number 51. And look at how cool and calm he remains going into the spin on the bank.
You know, Al, you're seeing some history there. I don't think in the last 10 years A.J. has spun 3 times. It's a very rare occurrence when A.J. loses it.
But Foyt's had his problems in the past at this track, and that again is the case in Charlotte today. Chris Economaki had a chance to visit with him before the race.
A.J., you've always had tough luck here at Charlotte, but you brought your own car and crew this time. What is it about this racetrack that's been so tough for you?
Well, it's not necessarily that tough. We just haven't had the breaks that we normally have in racing. You know, the 65, I led to within 3 or 4 laps to go and had some problems. But all in all, it's just been kind of an unlucky racetrack, but maybe we can change things around.
Well, not today for AJ, and the yellow flag is out. There is your leader, and the leaders come into the pits. Richard Petty leading in car number 43, and there is number 11 running second, Cale Yarborough. We'll be right back at Charlotte. Back at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, racing under the green again. That's Richard Petty who has the lead, and that's AJ Foyt back on the track, but he's a lap down. There is, in car number 21, David Pearson, the pole sitter for this race, in second place right now. Cale Yarborough in the orange car number 11 is third, and Benny Parsons starting to make his move in car number 72, has moved up to fourth.
Parsons has got a goal today, Al. Everyone wants to win, and so does he. But if he can place high enough, his career winnings will go over the $1 million mark in NASCAR.
Not bad for a former taxi driver from Detroit. And right now, David Pearson starts to drop back. He has dropped from second back into fourth place. Cale Yarborough has moved up to second. And here comes Benny Parsons trying to move into second underneath Yarborough.
It looks as though Pearson's car is busting lows. He's not getting a hold of the racetrack as well as his rivals, Al.
And we've got Benny Parsons and Cale Yarborough side by side in the battle for second. Out in front of them is AJ Foyt, but he's a lap down. The leader is Richard Petty. And a tight scramble as they come down the home straight. Petty drops down low, and there goes Bobby Allison in car number 12 into the infield, and spinning along with him is car number 21, and that is David Pearson.
Cale Yarborough got a crack in the back bumper, got sideways a little bit, but he kept going. The tough break is for Bobby Allison here, number 12, and Pearson, number 21. And NASCAR rules dictate they've got to go all the way around the track before they can stop at the pit for repair.
Well, bad day for the Allison brothers. Donnie had the lead and had to come out. Bobby involved in the spin here, and he'll have to go around before he gets back in the pit. And it looks like Cale Yarborough came out probably in the best shape of all among the leaders.
Well, yellow flag coming out. Now, let's take a look at what happened in slow motion. It's very close going up in turn 4 for the fight for the lead. And then, as they came around, Petty, in front here, slows down unexpectedly. Apparently something happened. A good professional wants to get out of the way, so he cuts down, and the drivers behind him had to hit the brakes. And that set their cars into a set of slides. There you can see Petty moving to the left, and Cale Yarborough being cut from behind by Pearson. Pearson gets sideways. They come down on Bobby Allison, the number 12 car, on the inside lane. Cale straightens out and keeps going, but Allison and Pearson slide out of the grass. A lot of sheet metal damage on their cars.
So Petty had to drop down low, something apparently wrong with Richard's car. He had the lead in car number 43, and he goes right through the pits and into the garage area. So there is the man who had the lead prior to the accident. And coming into the pits right now, here comes car number 21. There is David Pearson, and look at the damage to the front end. And even if he can get back in the race with streamlining so important in stock car racing aerodynamically, he would still figure to have a problem. Right now, one of the top crews in NASCAR racing, the Wood brothers, working on the car of number 21, David Pearson. But Pearson with a lot of damage to the front end coming down the main straightaway. Meanwhile, back in the garage area, they work on the car of Richard Petty. Richard's still in the car right now, and Chris Economaki is there with him.
They going to be able to fix it, Richard? Yeah, they're going to weld it up. Well, exactly what is it? They pull all the shock mounts out of the right front. Were you off the road or just a bump or what? Well, the track's pretty rough, and anyhow, you know, the car's about a year old. I guess just got too much to fix. Richard Petty waiting to get some welding done.
So we'll have to wait and see if Petty can get back in. In the meantime, here are the two fellas who escaped relatively unscathed. On the inside, in car number 11, Cale Yarborough. On the outside, car number 72, Benny Parsons, battling for the lead. And it's Benny Parsons on the outside. Out in front, Yarborough is running second. Dave Marcus is third. Buddy Baker is in spot number 4. So your leader is Benny Parsons in car number 72, but Cale Yarborough hanging right in there. And look at this, between turns 1 and 2, a bad one. We've got two cars making contact, one of them going up against the outside wall, and a third now involved in the accident. That was Ricky Rudd, who went bouncing in to number 36 down on the grass there. Ron Hutcherson, who was running in spot number 5. The other car involved is number 99, Dick Trickle. And here comes Ricky Rudd, the damaged right front of Ricky Rudd's car, the third man involved in the accident between turns 1 and 2.
Well, I don't imagine anybody's hurt, Al, but boy, it sure did a lot of damage to the machinery. Look at Richard Rudd's car with that right front corner all torn up. He's limping around to the pits. Ron Hutcherson, an Iowa driver who doesn't race too often in NASCAR, he's going to come back. Let's take a look at it here. They got side by side. The first thing to a slam on the brakes. That locks up the wheels. That's why all the smoke you see. And the Trickles car goes up, hits the outside wall. They come back and meet it. And right in front of Ricky Rudd, there's no room for this young rookie. He dives down, did a nice job, almost got by, and he caught the rear bumper on Hutcherson's car, which tore the right front corner off his car. Cosmetic damage only, wild and spectacular, no injury.
They try to get Ricky Rudd's car back in the race. In the meantime, the yellow flag is out. The leaders are all coming into the pits. The front runner right now is Benny Parsons, and we'll be returning to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. But right now, let's go from the asphalt to the snow. Pro skiing in Snowbird, Utah, with Jim Lampley and Bob Vietti. From race in Charlotte, North Carolina, Al Michaels with you, standing in front of the pit of Benny Parsons. He has the lead right now. The only other man running on the same lap is Cale Yarborough. Chris Economaki working with me right now. Chris, it looks like a two-man race.
Well, Benny Parsons has 15 seconds on Cale Yarborough, and they have a lap on everybody else. But it's also a two-pit crew race. There's one more pit stop left, the key one for the fuel and the tires. And if one crew messes up, they can blow it for their driver.
And coming out of turn 2, there is car number 72, and that is Benny Parsons. And Benny Parsons down the back straight is slowing down.
It's tough for the leader, Benny. Whatever it is, it's trouble, and let's hope the pit crew can fix it. He stretched his fuel a bit. It might be that he's out of gas.
So Benny Parsons slowing down, and that's a big break for Cale Yarborough. And here comes Yarborough right now. He's going to take advantage going into the pit. Cale in car number 11.
Junior Johnson and his boys, an excellent pit crew. Cale is a defending NASCAR champion, and he won it partially because of his pit crew. Oh, this must be killing Benny going so slow around the track.
So Benny Parsons has to coast around the track right now in car number 72. And an interesting twist in what has become a two-man race and a good pit stop for Cale.
The question is Parsons' car going to make it to the pit?
So slowly, ever so slowly right now, losing precious seconds to Cale Yarborough, and now he seems to be picking it up a bit. Car number 72, he makes it into the pits. Here comes Benny Parsons.
It's tire, and it's fuel. That's what it is. He must be just out of gas. And now Cale Yarborough's on the track at full speed. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when he comes out.
And you can see how disgusted Benny Parsons was shoving the drink away. He doesn't need that. Just get me out, he says.
The question is, will it start with all the lines dry? There's the push.
So Yarborough already right now at full speed, back out on the track, and here comes Parsons, and here comes Cale.
Parsons was lucky in that it fired right away, Al. Sometimes those engines don't want to kick over when the lines are dry. And now we're going to see a real race to the finish.
Well, you saw Parsons come out of the pits, but right now Yarborough leads by about a quarter of the track, a mile-and-a-half surface here at Charlotte. So Yarborough is the leader. Well, Tom Sneva making his NASCAR debut today, the first man to go over 200 miles an hour at Indianapolis, but he's pulled into the garage area, and Sneva is with Chris Economaki right now.
Oh, not a pleasure. How about Tom? Boy, I guess that's more work than I've done in a long time. You out of breath? Yeah, I really am. I'm fatigued, I'll tell you. That's a lot of work. These things, a little bit tougher than the IndyCar.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah. For sure.
What are you here for, fatigue, or you got mechanical trouble?
Mechanical problem. Yeah, I could have kept going, but I couldn't go full, flat out like I should.
Tom, what was the hardest part of it for you, this first stock car race of yours?
Well, really being in shape. Geez, I wasn't in shape to go ahead and do it. Late in the race, we were...
Okay, Tom Steve's really exhausted here. We'll leave him alone for now.
Well, Chris, I think that illustrates very well as you look at the leader, Yarborough, the fact that these NASCAR stock cars weigh about 2 tons. The Indy-type cars, which Tom Sneva is used to driving, weigh in at about 1,500 pounds, and you can see the fatigue in the face of Tom Sneva. Late in the race at Charlotte, the National 500, Cale Yarborough is the leader, but Benny Parsons, who had this pit stop, he coasted into it. Parsons in second place right now and still very much in the race and picking up ground on Cale Yarborough.
Parsons' car is just right for the track today, Al. Jake Elder, the crew chief, has got it set up, and he's flying. Now he's bearing down on Cale, and I don't see what can stop him from going by. Everything is right for the old cab driver from Detroit.
Well, he's going to try it maybe on the inside right here. That's Yarborough up on top. There are the two leaders right now. And Benny Parsons in number 72 has retaken the lead, at least temporarily. Coming down the main straight right now, and it's Parsons on the inside who is back in first place. So Benny Parsons leads. Yarborough has dropped to second.
As the shadows settle over the track, Al, it's evident that Parsons' car works anywhere on the track, low, high, and in the middle. Most of the other drivers at this point in the race have got to take one line that is best for them. But Benny can go anywhere.
We'll be right back at Charlotte. Well, that is the worried look on the face of one Jake Elder, the crew chief for Benny Parsons' car. He does not look like the crew chief of a man whose car right now is out in front. He's wondering if he can stay there. He has the lead with Yarborough second, and here's a battle for third between David Pearson and Buddy Baker. Baker in car number 15, Pearson in car number 21, battling for third late in the race.
You know, it's remarkable that Pearson is this far ahead with that damaged front end. The aerodynamics of his car are just zero, and yet he's fighting it out with Baker. Here they come. He's nosing ahead now for the number 3 spot as they squeeze very narrowly down into turn 1. Oh, and Buddy puts the squeeze on him. Right to the end, these fellas race.
So Pearson with a damaged car brushing the wall, and Baker right now in third place with David running in spot number 4.
There's the weather-beaten face of Herb Nabb, the crew chief for Cale Yarborough, lying second. Car owner Junior Johnson, the last of the good old boys, he's known as a former driver, and they know today they are going to get beat.
The white flag right now. We're on the last lap with Benny Parsons, the former cab driver from Detroit, trying to pick up a pretty good-sized fare today. Over $250,000 in prize money at stake. He's on the last lap and has a sizable lead over Cale Yarborough. So if he stays together, it's Benny Parsons who will be the winner here in Charlotte. Benny Parsons in car number 72. Parsons started in the 8th spot today. Qualifying speed over 158 miles an hour, and he's coming down among the tail enders there in the pack for the checkered flag. Benny Parsons with an average speed of 142.780 miles an hour. There's his elated crew. Benny Parsons picking up the win. Here comes Cale Yarborough. He will finish in spot number 2. Cale Yarborough winding up second, 19 seconds back of Benny Parsons.
And on the very last lap, David Pearson pulled it off to get third ahead of Buddy Baker. Darrell Waltrip fifth in car number 88.
And there's the rookie, Ricky Rudd, who was involved in that spectacular accident between turns 1 and 2. Spent much of the afternoon racing without his hood. The standings here at Charlotte, there are the top 5. Among others, A.J. Foyt finished 7th, Janet Guthrie 9th, and Ron Hutchison, involved in that spectacular wreck with Rudd, finished 11th. Now down to Victory Circle and Chris.
Well, Benny, how hard was it?
Oh, it wasn't too bad.
Never is when you win, huh?
No, it never is too bad. It was great. It was very simple. The car was fantastic. Jake, Waterell, all aboard. The car was unbelievable.
What'd you think when you came out at that last pit stop? You ran out of gas, and there Cale was ahead of you.
Well, I saw him ahead, and I felt like that, we could do it. I felt like I could catch him, and we did.
How hard did you have to coast with a dead engine?
as fast as it would coast. I ran out about in front of the pits and had to coast all the way around.
You feel like you belong to that school of old drivers they've been talking about?
What school is that now? Old drivers?
Yeah, the young fellas are saying that maybe some of the older guys ought to quit because 500 miles was too long for them, but not for us?
Well, if some of the competition wants to quit, that'll be fine. But, we can't quit now, Chris. It's just too good.
Okay, the National 500 winner, a happy Benny Parsons.
So the erstwhile cabbie rings up a $41,000 fare on the meter today. Al Michaels for Chris Economaki saying so long from the Charlotte Motor Speedway in Charlotte, North Carolina.
This is Chris.